This is GARIS, Masculist MGTOW flyers. That is 2-3 page essays on the themes of masculism and MGTOW, written by and read aloud by Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. This is flyer 7-5, entitled Arcing WGTOWs? Description. This flyer poses the question whether women could be archers after retirement careers. Mimicking male archers. Yes, they could. They would need to be FIPs and to have saved hard in the first half of their lives and then arc freely in their second half. The flyer itself. Arcing WGTOWs? One of the lifestyles I advocate for men is arcing after retirement careering. I read recently that the average Australian male has a life expectancy of 80 years. I was surprised. I had expected it to be about 75, but it has risen, it seems. So for many men, they will have decades of life left after they retire. Obviously, they're not going to then crawl away into a corner and wait to die. They may start up a new career doing what they love, and perhaps for 30 years or more. This new careering I call arcing. If a man is a MGTOW who plans out his whole life in broad terms, he may decide to study and work hard, get well qualified in a well-paid skill, live modestly, save and invest heavily, so that he builds up enough money to retire young, say in his 40s, and hence spend the rest of his life arcing, doing what he loves, not being a wage slave to some employer, and as a MGTOW, definitely not being a manslave to some cursed fluffy. My personal view is that life is all about arcing. That is, that the focus of one's life is to arc. I say that because arcing can be half of one's life, so a sizable hunk of one's time on this earth. If one can divide a life into three main phases. The prepping phase, in which children and young adults prepare to earn a living through education, allowing them to enter the second phase of life called the waging phase, in which one earns a wage or salary. These first two phases allow the third phase called the arcing phase, which is what life is all about, since the first two phases are preparing for it. Once a man decides to MGTOW, to refuse to spend money on a woman, then he can save and invest much more than the usual manslave. He can retire early and perhaps move to a poor third world country where the cost of living is much lower and take advantage of the lower prices so that his effective purchasing power is increased by several fold, allowing him to start arcing even earlier in life. That is one of the reasons why I live in China. Recently, the question occurred to me, could women arc? Could they choose to live the same kind of lifestyle as male archers? Trying to answer that question is the theme of this flyer. There are millions of female FIPs now, women who have bothered to study a FIP major at high school and college and became FIPs as adults. A lot of them are deciding that they don't want to have kids. Perhaps they have read that research shows that the happiest couples are childless and that the unhappiest couples have teenage kids. So like many men, they have decided that they too don't want to have kids, so they don't. Such fit women may decide to adopt the tway-tweffing lifestyle, in which they have a relationship with a fit male, each with their own apartment, so that when the relationship fails, they both walk away back to their own apartment, cost-free. Tway-tweffing is 2A, 2F equals 2 apartments, 2 FIPs. Forces both partners to be nice to each other, since if not, the other partner can simply walk out so easily and cost-free. A fit woman is just as much a wage slave as a fit man in their waging phase of life. She has to do what some employer tells her to do. She is not free to do what she loves, the way she could do if she were arcing. So she may be as attracted to the arcing lifestyle as much as any male. Females are not as inventive as males, as shown by the appalling intellectual track record of females compared to males. Men have won 99% of the Science Nobel Prizes, for example, and nearly all the new ideas come from men. So if a lot of women decide to adopt the arcing lifestyle, it will probably be because they have been influenced by arcing males. They have seen with their own eyes the superiorities of this lifestyle and be attracted to its wonderful freedom, spending half of one's life doing what one loves to do. So these FIP WGTOWs are doing just what the FIP MGTOWs are doing. They are rejecting to be mothers, preferring to concentrate on their FIP careers as young adults, earning good FIP-based salaries in well-paid jobs such as the professions or the techs. They then, like the men, live modestly, perhaps in a tway-twef relationship, or a series of them, for decades, to get regular sex and companionship from a man. They too save and invest heavily and retire early in life and arc for the rest of it, doing what they love doing, freely. So as an archer myself now, I advocate this lifestyle to women as well. Millions of women are poised to take such a decision because there are so many FIP women, many of whom don't want to have kids. If so, that frees them up to contemplate tway-tweffing and planning to arc early in their lives, to spend the second half of it being free archers. I predict once enough men have been archers for a few years, women, with their less creative, less curious minds, will copy men and start the archer lifestyle themselves, perhaps combined with tway-tweffing for the rest of their lives. I've not heard of any woman advocating this lifestyle, perhaps because it is new to men, so lies several years into the future before it enters females' heads, but I see it catching on. I predict in time it will become a popular lifestyle for women, as the birth rate keeps falling for women, as women themselves choose to have fewer kids. Kids are very expensive and a real hassle. A lot of women ask, why bother? Many women are happy and fulfilled in their careers and would not miss having kids if their careers are very fulfilling, but nevertheless less attractive than arcing, where they get to choose how they spend their days. I wonder how long it will be before I read my first advocation of the arcing lifestyle coming from a female. Cheers. Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. Email profhugodegaris@yahoo.com. Website profhugodegaris.wordpress.com. YouTube channel name De Garis, Masculist, MGTOW, Flyers. Ciao.